My name is Beatrice Cruz, and I'm a first-year teacher and almost done with my internship here at act-rgv. And so, well, first of all, I'd like to thank, I know Dr. Vinger just stepped out, but I want to thank Dr. Vinger and everybody here for allowing me the opportunity to share today. The year has been great, and I'll kind of touch up on that, but I want to thank Dr. Avila and Janie. I know there's many that work here, but I always seem to email them and ask them so many questions, and so just want to thank you ladies for helping me out throughout this year. And my supervisor, Mrs. Liao, if you know her, she was very instrumental throughout the year, and same thing, great communication. And so that's one of the things that I felt was part of my success, was the ease of communication that I had here with anybody that I got a chance to know here at act-rgv. And so I'm really extremely grateful for that chance. And a couple of ladies that I felt like I had a really great connection with, Dr. Avila, Mrs. Hinojosa, Mrs. Cindy Liljahal, and Mrs. Rogers, so I was really happy to get to see her today. And so what I learned from these ladies and what I was able to pass on in my class is that they were never selfish with what they knew. They always were more than willing to share with us stories and their expertise and activities. And so I took that and thought, I need that same attitude and that same spirit in my classroom. I need to share it. I need to give it, and not just to my students, but to my coworkers. Because when you do that, you receive so much. And so that was something that was very, it was impressed in me in this program. And so I appreciate that. And of course, I did announce that I was at Harlingen CISD, and I know every school district is great, but I love my school district, of course, and they were very supportive. And I was sharing this earlier with Dr. Vinger and Mrs. Avila. I felt very supported throughout the entire year. I can kind of relate it to kind of like a net. When you have that net that you know is going to catch you, you may need it sometimes, you may not, but it's there. And so between the people that I met here and the people in my district and the people on my campus, I always had that assurance that I could call, I could email, I could stop by here, I could say, Janie, I might be there this afternoon or tomorrow, and somebody would be here to help me. Even Dr. Vinger, who you may think they're program directors, not able to be reached, but she was very personable. I felt comfortable if I needed to talk to her, and I think that makes a huge difference when you're part of a program. And so it's kind of amazing to think that about 14 months ago, and I started counting the days, I said 14 months ago, that's like 425 days that I first decided, okay, this is the step that I want to take. And it was challenging at times, and I thought, gosh, okay, I know I can do it. And now when I think about it, I thought, wow, it's almost done. And so it's a really, really great feeling. And so a lot of people ask you, how was your first year? I think, okay, well, I can't just say, oh, it was great, it was good, and it was. But the way I saw it, it was just an amazing journey. And a couple of the points that I felt, and I said it was full of support. I felt a lot of people help bring out that inner creativity that we all have. And so meeting people, I just felt challenged to bring that out, and a lot of self-reflection and growth. And so it was a very, very good year. And one of the things that I kind of compare it to is, as in our summer institute, we had instructors who always shared stories. I had this student this, and I had this parent this, and I thought, okay, one day I'm going to have my own stories. And so now at the end of the year, it's a very rewarding feeling to have like your stories that you can share. Right? And so to have that jar of stories that you can pull out and say, well, I had this student, and this parent made me feel this way. And so now I have my own stories. I think it kind of made me reflect on everything. Instead of appreciating other stories, you now appreciate your own stories. And to think that there's so many more years of more stories to come, it's a very joyful feeling. And so I really appreciate that. And so I'll kind of talk about my year, and the way I'll do it is I like to talk with quotes. I like to use quotes. One of my pastimes is I search for them and I share them. And so that became a big staple in my classroom, to use quotes. And so part of our one of our new teacher expectations was to have board words, and it outlined our agenda, our do now for the day, our content standard, our TEKS, our language, all that academic, the things that we need students to know every day. But it also had a section for what we called words of wisdom, the wow. And so every Monday it was a new quote, and it gave me an opportunity to connect with my students on a different level. We shared the quote, we discussed it, they gave feedback, and they understood that their feedback was just feedback. It wasn't graded, it wasn't right or wrong, they just needed to share. And so that became something huge in the room, because they could share about their home, they could share about what they thought. They didn't feel threatened by what they gave. And so our quote, and I'm just going to use three. The first thing that I chose for the beginning of the year, and it'll show you how my first year, the beginning of the year started. It goes like this: that's the thing about books. They let you travel without moving your feet. And so it was posted at the front of the room. They saw it every day, and even though it was about reading, but it kind of, when I self-reflect, I went to so many places in my first year. You know, I went to art meetings that I'd never been before, and I'm kind of sitting there taking notes and writing words down for the next art. You know, I filled out paperwork that I've never seen before, but bilingual paperwork, but it was done. You know, so I went to so many places without literally going anywhere, staying on the same campus. And so my students don't know that part of my journey, but they know that we journey together. They know that we travel together to so many places, and they have their places and I have my places, but at the end we ended together. And so that kind of started my year. And then the middle of the year is really summed up by Charlie Chaplin. And this is one of the quotes we used. April was National Humor Month. And that's around the star time. So it coincided very well, because Charlie Chaplin says, a day without laughter is a day wasted. And my students took that to heart, and it helped me to find balance during that month, because I had just come off my reading star and I had to help my students get ready for the other subjects. And so I remember at one point, one of my stories, I was very serious, you know, classes, we're studying, stars around the corner, we have to maintain that focus. And one of my kids said, Miss Cruz, and I said, yes. She's like, remember, we have to laugh. What did Charlie Chaplin say? A day without laughter is a day wasted. And all of a sudden, she just brought balance. Like, I thought, okay, maybe I haven't been smiling. Maybe I haven't been laughing. And so they were really good about picking up the quotes. And it helped me, because they reminded me of what we were supposed to do. And so that was a great middle of the year, or, well, it's mid to end of the year. And then the end of the year was a quote that we had up all year by Dr. Seuss. It said, the more that you read, the more things you will know, the more that you learn, the more places you'll go. And that was kind of a motto, and that was our theme for our promotion. And so it kind of helped the whole year come full circle. It helped me reflect on my highs, and it helped me reflect on my lows, which I feel both highs and lows are important in your life to keep balance. You can't have just high or just low. I felt like I grew with the high, and I felt like I learned from the lows, and so the balance was very important to me. And so final lesson, if I were to share, or what did I learn, what advice would I give, is a quote by Albert Einstein. He says, everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And so what I learned is that the beauty of teaching is seeing every student, coworker, and parent for who they are, and how they fit in that tapestry of the world we call education. Because education seems so broad, but everybody has their part. Everybody has their purpose in that. And so I learned a lot about myself when I didn't put myself in that box. You know, I allowed myself to be open. I allowed myself to ask for help. I'd say ask for help at all times. There's somebody who's going to help you. And laugh at yourself, laugh with your students. And I did all that, and I had a tremendous year, and I'm looking forward to another year in education. So thank you for letting me share. Thank you, Dr. Vinger, and the board, and all my friends who I got to make. I did say that I made some really great friends throughout the year that I might have not made by not being here and coming every day to McAllen for the summer. So I appreciate that. Thank you.